My name's Jailan Adly, and I'm the CEO of RefuSHE. We are a global organization that provides trauma-informed, holistic care to the world's most vulnerable refugee girls and young women. Those that are orphaned, unaccompanied, or were separated from their families as they were escaping conflict zones in their home countries. We work with refugee girls from across East Africa that have fled to Nairobi, Kenya, seeking protection and safety. We provide that through our Safe House, which provides safe shelter. Our Girls Empowerment Program provides specialized education as well as the ability to get vocational training in tailoring. We have a childhood education program for the children as well. And we also provide social psycho counseling and trauma counseling through our case management services for the girls in our program. I'm joined today by Espérance Gikundiro, who is not only our Senior Fellow of Alumni Relations, so she's going to be working to bring the alumni of our program together, but she's also a former alumni of our programs, and so today we'll hear a little bit about her story and what RefuSHE means to her. So thank you, Espérance, for joining us today. I know that you have a fascinating and inspiring story, so if you can share a little bit about your background and then how you found RefuSHE when you got to Nairobi.
First of all, thank you. Hi, everybody. Like she said, my name is Espérance Gikundiro. I was in Eshima, Kenya, which is RefuSHE now, I was 16 years old when I got to Kenya without family, which I felt lost. But I was referred to RefuSHE by UNHCR. And once you get there, for the first few months, I was very, very lost because of the language barriers and the culture shock. But after a little while, it became like a family to you. It became like sisterhood. You no longer feel lonely because you feel like you found a family there.
Great. Yeah, our Safe House is a really interesting place because you have girls coming from different countries who speak different languages, different religions, and you walk in and you realize that at the end of the day there's this kind of common humanity, and they support one another, they take care of one another, they take care of the children as well for one another. And I know in addition to the Safe House and the Girls Empowerment Program, you were part of our Artisan Collective. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Artisan Collective is?
It's very special because when you get there, you get a chance to, most of the girls who go to the RefuSHE organization, because of the war in their country, they get misplaced in different countries and they don't get a chance to go back to school on time. So once we get there, we get a chance to go back to GEP, which is Girls Empowerment Program, and they teach English, Swahili, and mathematics, basic biology, and stuff like that. So after that, I was able to take, which is vocational training course, and I graduated from it. So I got a chance to join the Artisan Collective, which is we are being trained how to make tie-and-dye scarves like the one I'm wearing today. So from that, you learn how to make this, and I was able to learn how to do it and make money from it, and I was able to support myself and my daughter when I was in Kenya.
So the Artisan Collective, it's a component of our programming with the idea that, as refugees, even in Kenya, it's incredibly difficult to get work permits, which means it pretty much leaves the informal sector as the only way for our girls to be able to make an income and support their family. By having the Artisan Collective, we're able to continue their training after vocational training courses are done, while giving them an income so that they can get prepared to start their own businesses. But I also know that the Artisan Collective, when I talk to the girls, it's a big part of their healing process. Can you talk a little bit about how it was part of your healing journey?
It plays a very big role in our lives because, like I say, 99 of the girls who are there, or actually 100%, is because they don't have any family in Kenya and you are under 18. So you really want to have something to hold on to, something to start over again and build up your self-esteem. So to most of us, including myself, when I say us, I'm trying to speak for all the girls in general who are still there, which I consider myself lucky to be here. Trying so hard not to be emotional because it hits closer to home. But it really helps in healing because you get the joy. To us, this is not just a scarf, it's a story. So to me, every scarf tells a story. When you're making that scarf, you see, I guess, the changes in colors and stuff like that. So it makes you believe in you can do something great. You can start something from scratch and make it something beautiful. So that's the part where like you feel like very sisterhood when you're doing all of that together with somebody who you met a few months ago who can't speak your language, which is in the beginning it's always like awkward because you meet somebody. I was born and raised in a Christian home, but my roommate in safe house, she was born and raised a Muslim. But that was we couldn't speak. She spoke Arabic, I spoke Kinyarwanda. We couldn't understand each other, and we was in the process of learning English. So the only thing that we could be able to do together was making scarves. So it's really a part of bringing together more than just making a scarf. It make you feel like you're really using signs, but you're doing the same thing because you are being trained. So it really helps you in that process and build up your self-esteem and helps you to think of in terms of business-wise or how to be like an entrepreneur because it helps you to feel like you can be a self-made success story yourself.
So speaking of strong female entrepreneurs, can you tell us what you're up to today?
Today I live in Dayton, Ohio. I'm a residential advisor for Dayton Job Corps, and I have become, I believe I was born a natural helper, so I became very involved in our community, or maybe it's because I know how it feels to need help, so I feel like now I can offer it. So I became very involved in our community in Dayton. I have received 2 awards for my activism in Dayton, Ohio. And now I work for the Dayton Job Corps, and I'm in school to become a social worker so I can help more people like RefuSHE help me.
You're
I'm sorry,
also a motivational
forgot,
speaker.
yeah.
Do you want to share some of the
I have
messages you
like
give?
full-time jobs. I'm sorry. RefuSHE helped me to pay for John Maxwell classes. Anybody familiar with John Maxwell? So I took John Maxwell classes of leadership, and I graduated from the class last year to become a certified motivation speaker. So now I do like motivation speaking in Dayton, Ohio, and sometime here in Chicago.
Do you want to share some of the lessons you try to impart on the girls that you talk to?
Yeah, sure. Most of the time, I focus on the girls when I'm doing motivation speaking because I guess I can speak from experience and I can show them that it's possible. You can, I had it all growing up and then I lost it and I had to start from scratch. So I know it's true when I can tell a girl, you are young, but you are beautiful, you are smart, you can do it from scratch. So I want everybody to know that sometimes when you go in a world that you feel different, you try to lose or maybe to like hide your uniqueness, which is really what makes us special. So I try to tell the girl to find the uniqueness in them and use their passion and their talent to grow and change the world. I believe in changing, like being the change you want to see. So I always tell the girls, everybody is different for a reason. So use your differenceness or your uniqueness to help the world.
So we're extremely lucky to have Espérance in Ohio because she gets to come and speak and really talk on behalf of RefuSHE. She was in our first cohort, one of the very first cohorts that we had, and is able to not only be a role model for the girls and women she speaks to here in the US, but also to the girls that we have back in Nairobi in terms of, what can the future hold and where can we go from here. And so I know we're coming up on time. Is there anything you want to impart as a last thought to our audience today?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you for Jailan and thank you for everybody in RefuSHE to give me a chance to speak on behalf of RefuSHE. And I want to thank everybody who is here today. We have like our scarves outside on booth. If you want to go see, remember to ask, this is not just a scarf. When you buy one scarf, you're really helping one girl because all the money goes back to them. When I was back in Kenya, I didn't know how we do it. Most of the time when like they do fund, now I know because I've been fundraising in US, but when I was there, I just know they are Americans and they have money. But now this is not just a scarf. Every scarf tells a story. There's a tag and the name of every girl who made the scarf. So it's very personal. When I'm wearing it, I go so proudly because I know it's not just a scarf. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be with us. You know, when I joined RefuSHE, for me, the artisan program was one of the most important components. One, it was an income-generating opportunity, which meant it gave real, tangible skills on how you can take something, make something, and build a business. It also allows our programs to generate income and be able to provide that as a stipend to our girls. Lastly, what we are seeing right now with the resettlement caps, it's impacting our ability to resettle our girls. So today we were talking, Espérance and I, and most of the girls in her cohort 10 years ago were resettled outside of Kenya. Most of the girls now that we work with, their reality is most likely having to integrate into the local communities in Nairobi, and as refugees, that's an incredibly difficult thing to do. And so right now, this artisan collective is the way for them to be able to take a skill that they can then create their own business, because it will be very hard to get them formal work permits. So it will have to be their own self-sustaining entrepreneurial way of doing business to be able to provide for their families and their children. And so it's a really important component of our program that allows us to impart those skills on them. So we encourage you, we're going to be at the expo for the next 2 days. Come check out our programs, check out our scarves, and learn more about RefuSHE. Thank you all for your time.